KOR Sports here with the great Harold Letterman here at the press conference of Golovkin versus Wade. Tell me, sir, how do you see this fight playing out tomorrow or Saturday night?
You know, Dominic Wade's a huge underdog. I mean, if he goes the distance, it's a victory for him. I mean, you know, I think the odds are something like 50-1 now in favor of Golovkin. But hey, you never know in boxing. I mean, you know, we could have another Tyson Douglas on our hands. The kid's undefeated. He's coming to fight. Nobody told him he's supposed to lose, you know. So, you know, he's looking good, Dominic Wade. I think he's going to make the weight easily. He looks like he looks like he's in real good shape. So I'm looking for an exciting fight.
How do you see a potential matchup, obviously, with Golovkin and Canelo if they both win their respective fights in the future?
I can't stand Canelo with this 155-pound crap. He ought to stop talking about catchweights and sign a contract. You know, if he gets by Amir and Canelo beats Golovkin beats Dominic Wade, they should really sign to fight now when people want to see it. You know, I mean, we had that crap with Pacquiao and Mayweather where we had to wait 5 years to see a fight that everybody wanted to see, and you know, everybody wants to see Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. You know, and that's taking time. I mean, there's no reason in hell why Canelo doesn't sign a contract. He'll make a huge amount of money. They can fight in the fall. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, Canelo's jerking around. Well, he wants to fight at 155. Too bad. He's the middleweight champion. Gennady Golovkin's the #1 contender, and he's a middleweight. You know, so you know, you got to fight at 160 because that's the rules.
Right, definitely. What's kind of your take, being a boxing historian, just overall in this kind of era of catchweights? Like, what's your take on it?
I'm really against catchweights. You know. I mean, you know, especially in world title fights where there's a set weight for the division. You know, the division limits 160 for middleweights. Gennady always weighs 160 or less. You know, Canelo should come in. Well, if he doesn't want to weigh 160, so weigh 159. But don't hold up the fight because he wants to try and gain an advantage outside the ring over Gennady Golovkin. That's a joke. You know, people want to see the two guys fight at their best, and certainly Gennady's a middleweight.
Golovkin's 34-0, 31 knockouts on a 21-fight KO streak. Where do you think he ranks as far as all-time power punchers in the middleweight division?
Oh, he's a terrific power puncher. I mean, he's got to be right up there with the Harry Grebs, the Sugar Ray Robinsons, you know, Mickey Walker, all the great middleweights in history. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. You know, there's been so many great middleweights. You could go on and on and on, and certainly Gennady is right up there. Of course, I just would like to see the top guys in the division fight him. I want to see Danny Jacobs take the fight. Yeah, I'd like to see Billy Joe Saunders, Andy Lee, a lot of these guys out there, Peter Quillen. You know, a lot of these top middleweights should line up and fight Golovkin because he's the best. And, you know, especially Canelo Álvarez, who's a great fighter. He should definitely fight him at 160.
Give me your take on the Canelo versus Khan fight. How do you see that going, and what do you think about the actual matchup itself?
Well, Amir Khan's taking a big chance fighting a big guy. He looked real good with Chris Algieri, if you ask me. He's got tremendous boxing ability, tremendous hand speed, a pretty decent punch. Amir Khan can fight, you know, and I think he'll give Canelo trouble because Canelo had problems with Erislandy Lara, who was a mover. So if he can box and he can stay away from Canelo's power, he's got a very good chance to win the fight. I'm fascinated by May the 7th on HBO pay-per-view. It should be a great night of boxing.
Definitely. Speaking, you just mentioned Canelo fought Lara, he's fought Trout. He's kind of made a signature of his career fighting difficult opposition. Why do you think now, kind of with the Golovkin fight ahead, there seems to be kind of this weight issue and this kind of maybe, let's let fights marinate? Like, why do you think that is?
It's Oscar De La Hoya. Seriously, I don't know. I mean, you know, it's an excuse to get out of the fight. It's a joke. But you know, Canelo should, if he gets by Amir Khan, he should fight Golovkin. That's all there is to it at 160.
Chocolatito's on the undercard of Golovkin's fight. #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now. Where do you think he ranks as far as all-time flyweights?
Oh, he's been sensational. I mean, you know, the guy is just terrific. People comparing him to Ricardo Lopez, you know, as one of the great flyweights of all time. He's a great fighter. He's got power, tremendous hand speed, aggressive as all get out. You know, the only time we ever saw him have any trouble was with Juan Francisco Estrada, and he won that fight. So you gotta really rank Roman Gonzalez Chocolatito right up there with the great flyweights. And you know, there may not be great flyweights around like there used to be, but certainly he's one of the best.
You obviously watch all the fights. You're a huge boxing fan, but who's that one fighter that Harold Letterman is not missing, like when they fight? Like you like not go to like a wedding if you had to just to watch that person fight. Who's like the fighter that your go-to fight?
Anthony Joshua, without question. Yes, tremendous power. Kid is coming on like gangbusters, and he's got a piece of the heavyweight title, and he's going to go further.
I was going to say, what's next for him? Do you think?
I'd love to see Brian Jennings on HBO. Be a great fight.
And Deontay Wilder, some of those guys, do you think they'll give Anthony Joshua some trouble once he gets there?
Yeah, I mean, Deontay Wilder's a pretty decent fighter. If he gets by a really experienced guy like Povetkin, he'll be great with Anthony Joshua. I think that'll be a sensational unification fight. I'd look forward to seeing that.
Definitely a hot time for the heavyweights too, with Luis Ortiz as well. Is it nice to kind of have some like new life kind of in the heavyweight division? Do you think?
Yeah, if we can get these guys to fight each other.
Thank you so much, Harold. Really appreciate your time as always.